What is up? Coming to you live from the Cat House in Montebello, California. It's Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast, the Monday edition, the March 30th edition, the 167th edition, if you're keeping track at home. We are in our third week of quarantine. It is freaking wild in the fucking West and the East and inside and out everywhere. It's the 10 minutes late edition. Man, I was talking last week about how there's a lot of industries really suffering right now. The service industry, the entertainment industry, comic shops. Pete Malini, go support your local comic shop. He's setting up a website. Help out our man, Pete Malini. We gotta help out the local businesses wherever you can. But the one category apparently that is not suffering is video games, because I can attest to that today, because at my job at the big old warehouse somewhere in Orange County, we had, let me tell you, normally in a normal Monday we usually have about 800 orders, maybe 1,000 on a normal circumstances. But apparently, with everyone locked up in their houses, they're all going to the internet and buying video games. They're buying fitness games. They're buying Just Dance. They're buying all the rhythm games. Everyone's buying. If they can't get their hands on the new Animal Crossing, they're buying the old Animal Crossings. All right. So last Monday, we had 3,000 orders, which is like incredibly insane. Today, 5,000. We sold 5. We didn't finish. That's why I'm late, because I stayed at work all the way till like 7:15, and then that's why we're incredibly late today. It's insane, and the garbage that people are buying. It's wild. We sold hundreds of copies of Just Dance. But that's not necessarily garbage, but we are selling like the weirdest stuff. It is just, I don't know if this is like deja vu. I don't know if I talked a lot about this last week, but it's escalating. I can't understand it. People are buying everything under the sun. We're selling games that we've never sold before. We're selling games that we only sell during Christmas. This has literally become Christmas 2.0 for us. So this is kind of it's intense. We're going to go right back in tomorrow. We have to keep pushing through all these orders. Like, people are going on Amazon, buying everything up. Deal Tavern on Amazon if you want to contribute to this. If you're looking for some games. Yeah, right, exactly. Rant and Knock on Facebook Live. One man's garbage is another man's gold. Yeah, it's literally that. There's all these like weird party games that we're selling that we've never sold before. Like, we sold like 30 copies of Trivial Pursuit for the Wii. We sold, what was it? 200 copies of Black Ops 2. I was joking how like Activision, so my boss, we're a big distributor in video games. He went to Activision and said, hey, can I order more Call of Duties? And they said, no, we don't want to sell any right now, which leads me to believe that even though there's clearly money out there to be had, GameStop wanted to stay open, like we talked last week. They want to stay open because people need to be entertained. Either adults who are stuck at home, they need to like pass the time, either shooting or rhythm gaming or platforming or whatever genre that keeps you happy. And boy, we are hitting every single genre. Again, we were too busy. Like I said last week, I wanted to write down all the weird games that I saw. Normally, like I get handed the batch. Okay, here's our batch. Here's the games that you're gonna pull. Normally, it's like I said, it's like 5 to 10 pages. It was 49 pages of crap. I mean, some of it was good games. There are good games. Don't get me wrong. We do sell good games, but my boss likes to joke that we are the kings of garbage. We sell the bad games. Not even bad games. Just games that are old. We sell old sports. We sell more old sports games than we sell brand new sports games. Like stuff from like 10 years ago, and people are buying them up. They're buying up old hockey games, old NBA games. It's just wild, the stuff that we're selling. Me and my boss. Thankfully, there's only a handful of us in this warehouse, which is why we haven't been shut down yet. We are waiting to see if the freaking Orange County is gonna come down. Like, hey, what are you guys doing in there? Shipping thousands of things. We're keeping people entertained. Apparently, out in this quarantine land, we're helping people maintain their sanity through gaming and apparently helping people maintain their health. There's this game. I just kicked the thing and now it probably got picked up by the microphone. There's a game that came out back when I worked for Nintendo. Everyone take a drink. Look, this is even my Nintendo glass here. When I worked at Nintendo, there was a game called EA Active, which is honestly not too different from some of these modern fitness games that are like the people going crazy for that Ring Fit Adventure for the Switch, which I almost bought a copy of because we got a couple of those in, but apparently those things are worth like $250. So I was like, you know what, boss? You go ahead and sell that game for $250. I'll happily wait till it comes back around to its normal price of like $80. And buy this fun fitness game that myself and the wife can play with in between doing yoga sessions. But there's this older game called EA Active, which you put a sensor on your forearm, you put a sensor on your hip, and normally we sell a couple of those a day. Amazon likes to buy those from us and sell it themselves, but we directly sold like 30 copies of that thing today, of a friggin' 10-year-old game for the Wii, where you got to hook up these weird sensors. Which I had one of the versions. I picked up it used the same technology, the NFL training camp thing. I did that for a while, but it was murder on my knees. But we sold 25 or 30 of those things today. Just today. That's over the whole weekend. People apparently are using video games to stay fit. We sold every copy of Zumba that we had for the Xbox 360. We sold freaking whatever Wii Fits we had left. Those were gone. And just all these exercise games. I'm assuming people are using Just Dance. I mean, I know old Sam Zia and his family, they use Just Dance to do some cardio. So I'm sure that might be the motivation. It's not just to amuse themselves. They might be needing to do some cardio, and Just Dance is just the ticket. But we're selling every single year, everything from Just Dance 2, 3, 4, 2013, all the way to now. Just Dance 2020. We got all the Just Dances, and of the 5,000 orders, I'm guessing at least 1,000 of the orders were Just Dance. It's insane to me. And me and my boss, we're just like looking at each other like, what is happening? Ain't nothing wrong. I mean, great. We're making money. We're supplying people with what they want. We haven't really changed it. It's not like we're not price gouging. We're not like, hey, let's raise the price on all this stuff because it's in demand. We're just, hey, we're going to sell it at our normal prices, and it's quite fortunate. You know, one of the other coworkers like, oh, we taking advantage of people? Like, no. And I was like, hey, we're not holding a gun to their head. They're stuck at home. People need to, figure out a way to get through this, isolation. It's not easy. I was telling one of my coworkers where it was, it's like 8 or 9 years ago, around this time, I had sprained my knee really bad, and I was ordered by Nintendo to stay home. I was stuck at home for 2 weeks, and I went batshit crazy. I went nuts. I was like, all right, cool. I finally have time to play all the video games I want to play. Yeah, I was sick of playing games after like 3 days. I just got fed up with it. All right, I'm going to watch all these movies I have after another day or two of that. I'm sitting at home with my knee all bandaged up. I got to keep it elevated because I sprained it really bad. And I just lost my mind. I remember going back to the doctor. I'm like, I need you to let me go back to work. I don't care if I can barely walk. I'm going to get that big old Stone Cold Steve Austin knee brace, that big old thing with the metal bars and the straps. I'm going to strap that sucker on. I'm going to go back to work because being trapped in my house for 2 weeks was maddening, where I could barely walk, let alone move. I feel fortunate that I can go to my job and keep myself occupied for 8 hours a day. It's insane. Being cooped up. I don't know how my wife does it. I mean, obviously she's very occupied with our wonderful little tiger, but I
sew.
She sews. She's sewing. If you need a face mask, where's my face mask? My wife, if you go to her, I got to put up a link. She shows you how to make them. She made me this mask. Look at this beautiful. It has what were these whales? The humpback whales?
Yeah.
There's humpback whales on mine. She's making the mask. If you need a mask, because apparently the CDC is recommending that we wear the masks. I guess not to protect yourselves, but to protect others, just in case if you have it and you don't know it. Yes. Oh, that's the scary part about this whole thing. You may have it, and you don't even know that you have it. My wife, yeah, LA Social Club. Now my wife, Rosa Limon, she makes them. She spent the weekend making a whole bunch of them and donating them to medical care workers. But if you need one for yourself, it's on her Etsy. If you go to etsy.com/shop/ Le Meow Club, she has masks available for yourself and for your kids too. That was the big thing. We had a whole bunch of people hit her up, not us. I mean, my contribution has been a cameraman during her live performances, and I think I did some pattern drawing, and drawing with a marker on fabric is a lot harder than drawing on a piece of paper with pencil. Good Lord! But if you are in need of wonderful masks like this one that my wife made for me, she has them. You can get them. And they're not all plain. She finds whatever fabric she has in her inventory, she's just using it. Well, I was really jealous. Some of the kids ones had like really cool like nerdy stuff on them. I was a little jealous, TBH, that I didn't get a nerdy one. I got the whale one, but you know what? I'll take whatever I can get from my wife. I didn't. Those are for the kids. I did not ask her for one. She made the. I wasn't like, oh honey, you got to make me a mask. I'm like, no, we're trying to take care of the healthcare workers. She made 20 for one person, and she initially we were not asking. She wasn't asking for any money back, but then people just started donating to her. And it's like, oh, because all the fabric, she's using up her inventory of fabric. She ran out of elastic. That's another crazy thing. She ordered some elastic from Amazon. This past week, and the estimated delivery date is May. I'm guessing it's coming directly from China, because it's been shipped, and the shipping carrier. I work in shipping. I've never heard of this carrier, so I was like, oh yeah, this shit's coming straight from China. Oh my Lord, I guess, but the sewers of America have all been like out there trying to crank these suckers out. So my wife's been, she feels really good now. She's recovered pretty well from the C-section and the pregnancy. She's back. She's closer to normal than I've ever seen her, and being able to sew has invigorated her, has given her life. She's so bright and glowing now. With you seeing her behind she loves being at the sewing machine, and she's doing good, and it's making her feel good, which then therefore using the transit property. If my wife is feeling good, then that means I feel good, and if we feel good, then the baby feels good, and then hey, everything's okay in this house. Can't speak for anyone else, but we're doing all right. Like I said, my wife's been occupying her time. Speaking of occupying time, obviously, we've been isolating ourselves on the weekends. I stay home. I think I stepped out to Home Depot, get some WD-40 for our rocking chair. Good God, that place was a shit show. But other than that, we stayed here. So I watched a lot of movies this past weekend. Oh yeah, Daniel Wong says he's going to hit you up. He's going to support the other half of the podcast now. Since he's our proud patron. I think he's going to be heading over to your Etsy and order some masks from you, wife. So we watched a lot of movies this past weekend. First and foremost, it was great because I've been using this app called Watch Now, and you can punch in all the apps that you have, like if you got a Netflix or a Hulu or an HBO Now or a Disney Plus, and it'll tell you what's available. And then I was kind of just cruising through it, saying, "Oh, what just got added?" And I saw the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was just added to Amazon Prime, which, hey, look at that. I happen to have Amazon Prime, primarily to watch stuff. Recently now I've been using the whole shipping thing, but well, it's not so prime right now. But we can watch video, like, hell yeah, because we were in the midst of my wife being incredibly pregnant when that was out in theaters, so we weren't going out. I mean, we toughened ourselves up. We went to go see Rise of Skywalker and Knives Out, but beyond that, we're like, nah, none of this other stuff. So we fired up Giant Silent Bob Reboot, and if you've ever been a fan, young me was a giant fan of the Kevin Smith movies. I loved. I literally had Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy memorized. I wore out 3 VHS tapes. I had all those on VHS, and then I think I did get them all on DVD, and I have the majority of them on Blu-ray. At least most of because the original ones. I didn't buy a Red State, or I did watch Red State on demand. My cool acquaintance Kyle Gallner, one of the stars of that film. That was a crazy movie, but Kevin Smith showing us that he can do a horror movie, and that not good Tusk. Don't ever lowest possible recommendation. If I can tell you to, I don't like to tell people to avoid things, but don't ever watch that Kevin Smith movie Tusk. Poor Justin Long. Poor Justin Long. That's just the tale of a poor podcaster. Yeah, that was some. Yeah, I think that was out of his podcast where like they joked about this movie. And then people on Twitter voted for it. Yes, Tusk or no Tusk. And people voted enough. All right, we're going to make this weird movie where a guy gets turned into a freaking walrus made out of human skin. Weird movie. Don't ever watch it. It's incredibly disturbing. Michael Parks is incredibly disturbing in that movie. Yoga Hosers wasn't that bad. It's part of that weird trilogy. I guess they're supposed to make a third one. But I don't know if that third one ever got made. I don't know if Johnny Depp was too busy because he was in... I think he's in all 3 of those movies. As a weird private investigator. Him and his daughter are in those movies. But this Giant Silent Bob Reboot, this is more of a throwback to those first 5, like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and Giant Silent Bob Strike Back. And I guess peripherally Clerks 2. And yeah, this movie, if you were ever enjoyed those movies when you were in your 20s like me, this whole reboot movie is a love letter to that. There are references to all of those movies. It's very self-referential. It's very self-depreciating. He rags on himself literally. All the characters take shots at Kevin Smith in the movie for what he is and for who he is. It's pretty funny. There's this. It still had like that very immature humor, but it didn't feel as heavy-handed because Rosa and I, we watched Mallrats not that long ago, like a week or 2 ago, during the first weekend of quarantine, and last weekend we watched Dogma because I have one of the few physical versions. I guess my brother corrected me today. They told me there was a Blu-ray disc of Dogma, but it was apparently no longer in print. I guess it was a limited, really, it was only out there for so long. There's a whole long story involving that Weinstein fellow. I guess he owns the movie, and that's why you don't ever see Dogma streaming on anything, because I guess the distribution deal for that was done before the dawn of streaming. And now it's out of their hands, because I guess he still technically owns it, that Weinstein guy. So I guess Dogma doesn't exist, except for the few minutes that they talk about it during Giant Silent Bob Reboot. And I will not spoil unless you've already looked up who's in the movie. There's a whole lot of he brings back a lot of people from his previous movies, and it just refers to all of them. And if truth be told, there was a scene where I cried. And again, like I've been talking about these last few months, being a dad has changed my ability to watch films, and there was a very much of a dad scene in this movie, and I was just tearing up. I even I rewound it, and I had my wife, because my wife was busy sewing during that part, and I was like, nope, you got to come over here, sit down, and watch these these 3 minutes of dialogue, because if there's something Kevin Smith can do, he can string together a lot of words that can have some emotional weight in between all the dick jokes and the fart jokes. He can hit some emotional depth, because he almost died. And I think that's a lot of the crux of this movie, was a lot of him like reconciling that and trying to put together something that's quality and also funny. And that this movie was that. And then I found out that there's a commentary track. I guess the DVD release and the digital release don't have a commentary track. I guess a lot of movie studios aren't doing that anymore. So in his isolation, he recorded a commentary track that you can find on YouTube. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can fire up Amazon Prime on your TV, and on your phone you can go to YouTube and fire up the commentary, and you can hear Kevin Smith make fun of his own movie on another device while you're watching the movie. I going back to the advent of DVD, I've always been a big fan of director commentaries, especially fun ones like a Taika Waititi, or there was another director who would trash their own movie while you're watching it. I'm trying to remember who that's one. Yeah, see, Dan Wong. I only watch movies for the commentary tracks. Exactly. Yeah. So like nowadays, there's not too many, or they're more technical and they're not as fun. I can't remember who. There was another director who just trashed their own movie as they were watching it, or they're making fun of it. I cannot recall. I don't know if it was Quentin. I don't think it was Quentin Tarantino, because I think he thinks too highly of himself to trash his own movie. But I think that might be another fun commentary, either Pulp Fiction or one of those other films where you listen to Quentin talk about his own film. But yeah, there's a Kevin Smith commentary track for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, free on YouTube. Just however means, if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free, or if you want to go rent it or do whatever people do. If you can be like Jai Polidor and probably watch it illegally in some way. I don't know how he does it. It's always fun when that kind of stuff happens. Something else, we watched a lot of Mel Brooks movies as well. I have this big old. It's not going to make for great podcasting, but if you're watching, and then even worse, on Facebook Live, it's reversed, but you can see old Mel's face. I got this big giant collection I bought years ago, and back when Fry's Electronics still carried movies. I got a hold of that thing on sale, and we. Josh Trank hating his Fantastic Four. Oh boy, I bet that's a fun commentary track. That movie was a hot garbage. But we watched, on Saturday, we watched History of the World. And then I threw on Spaceballs, because hell yeah, freaking Spaceballs. Like, as a child, that was one of my favorite movies. I freaking loved freaking Spaceballs. I still do love, like, rewatching Spaceballs, I was like, oh man, how did they allow 9-year-old me to watch this movie? Granted, 9-year-old me didn't understand most of the jokes. I didn't know what a virgin alarm was. I had no idea that there were so many like dick and sex jokes happening. I was just too busy laughing at Pizza the Hut and guys getting like blasted in the balls. Or one of my favorite parts is when who put that asshole there? I did, sir. Major. That's asshole, sir. Major asshole. How many assholes do we have in this ship? Yo. Keep firing, assholes. Just 9-year-old me ate that. I laughed my ass off. My parents thought something was wrong with me because I was laughing so hard at that movie. It's particularly scenes like that. And just rewatching it, I was just like, because I realized I hadn't watched Spaceballs in a while. It's like, oh man, this is so funny. It's just so ridiculous. And then being an adult and realizing, just all these little things in the film that I missed as young Dre when that movie had originally come out. I think I have it on DVD. I may have watched it in 2005 or whatever year it was that it come out on DVD. But I'd want to say it's probably been a good 15 years since I watched the old Spaceballs, and so fun. And then last night I threw on probably, as I told my wife, probably my favorite comedy of all time. I can't quite put my finger on another comedy that makes me laugh as hard. It was Blazing Saddles, a film that probably could not be released today. I feel like we've talked about this on an episode of the podcast way back when, but that's like probably 2 to 3 years ago. Let's talk about it again, because I love throwing on Blazing Saddles at least once or twice a year, and oh boy, if you've never seen that movie, go watch it. Find, I don't know if it's on streaming, go find it. If you're local, I'll lend you one of my 3 copies. I have multiple copies of that movie. That movie is amazing, and just that I can't believe they got away with what they got away with. God, what year was that? I want to flip through my book here. I don't know if it's here, what year it's in. Oh, all right, again, great podcasting, Dre. Just people who can't freaking see what you're doing. 1974. Good God. And then I recall like watching a documentary about it and saying like, of all the things that they did in that movie, the only thing that the studio objected to, not the liberal use of the N-word, not the pervasive negative gay comments, not any of the other, not the other ridiculousness that was done. No, the biggest problem that they had with the movie was that there's a scene where all the ne'er-do-wells, all the bad guys are eating beans, and they're all farting. The farting was what movie executives took exception with. And when they eventually showed it on television, holy shit, they took the farting out. I feel quite certain they left all the N-words in. But of all the things, I guess the 70s, early 80s, obviously it was a different world. That's 40-something years ago. They took the farts out, but left all the N-words in. Different world, right? But I am still like upended every time I watch this movie. It's just so ridiculous. Like just from start to finish. So you're right there. Dang Wong. Blatant racism was totally fine in the 70s. Farts, way too far. And I think part of the reason they got away with it is just because Richard Pryor was supposed to star in it, but he had his own, as they like to say in the WWE, his own demons that he dealt with. That he was dealing with, so he couldn't be the star. So Cleveland Little got to be old Black Bart. Speaking of so after I watched Blazing Saddles, I never let it get to the menu, at least on this Blu-ray. There was a TV pilot that they tried to do with Louis Gossett, which is Louis Gossett Jr., but back then he was just Louis Gossett. They tried to do what's up, Kyle Jackson? What's up, my man? You came in at a great time. So I watched this Black Bart pilot. I guess they tried to do a TV show out of Blazing Saddles. I'm like, what? They're gonna just let's try this. Warner Bros. Like, hey, this movie was apparently very successful. Let's do a TV show where they just liberally just drop the N-bomb. And it's like peripherally has anything to do with Blazing Saddles. They changed like all the characters. I sat through it and I was like, this was not funny or like in none of the credits you did not see Mel Brooks or Richard Pryor at all. They didn't say based on Blazing Saddles in this pilot, even though it's the same. I was sitting there watching this pilot, and like it wasn't good. A poor Louis Gossett Jr. He tried his best, but he's surrounded by all these white people N-bombing him, and he's giving them the dirty looks every time. And I'm like, they were gonna put this on network television? Yeah, out of touch executive, clearly. No, Kyle, I mean, I'm sure you've seen Blazing Saddles, Kyle, but good Lord. I can't believe they got away with that movie in 1974. Yeah, 2020, if someone tried to do that movie, there would be a backlash. God, I don't think they can even show Blazing Saddles anywhere. You have to watch it in the privacy of your own home if you're going to get away with that film. Much like I did the other day. Like, I can watch this movie at home. Good God. But still, it still makes me laugh. I mean, me and Jai, I always love doing the line, "Hey boys, I have someone for you. Hey, where are the white women at?" Because they're trying to distract the KKK. Oh, thank you, Kiet. Thank you for bringing that up. Might as well stay on. Oh, I love the comments. So, our good friend Lamar Harris, he was our first guest of the podcast way back when. He's a frequent funny man. He's a young man, and apparently, so I actually did intend to talk about professional wrestling today as well. Uh, Poor Lamar learned that I guess even in 1998 there was still, racism was still allowed. And the D Generation X, old Triple H and X Pac, the New Age Outlaws, they all Lamar learned this over the weekend. He learned that they all put on blackface to make fun of the Nation of Domination, which was led by The Rock, as you know, the world's biggest movie star right now, but back then still just professional wrestler on the cusp of getting into one of those mummy movies. And they all put on blackface. In 1998, Vince McMahon is a goddamn racist. So Lamar saw this. Yeah, exactly, Kyle. That does not hold up. X-Pac wearing the thing with Mizark, and he's in the darkest of the blackface, and you got a Road Dogg doing Below. I was just like, oh man, and because Lamar tagged me in this post, and he's like, put the baby down and explain this. I'm like, Vince McMahon is a racist, just straight up. The man dropped an M-bomb on television. He looked at John Cena dead in the face and said, "What's up, my N-word?" He didn't do the hard R like Jai says. He did it with the A, but still, nevertheless, not cool. And then they walk by Booker T. Poor Booker T, man. Just stand there, and he did his catchphrase, "I tell me he did not just say that." That's true, Kyle. The only person on point, Jason Sensation is Owen Hart. Yeah, I am not a nugget. But yeah, I had to explain to Portland, like, nah, Vince McMahon does not care for the brother. Like, thank you, Kit. That's Roddy Piper in half blackface at WrestleMania. Or was it? I think it was WrestleMania. I forget if that was at WrestleMania when he did the half blackface. And then I guess I found out later that the joke was on him. That they gave him a dye that he couldn't shower out of, so he had to go into the airport in half blackface. Now, Vince doesn't, his brain is stuck in the 50s or something. He just thinks it's funny. Yeah, right. Right, yeah. And they won, and I'm sure WWE wonders, why do we struggle with non-white people? They sent the poor Eddie Guerrero. No, not even Eddie Guerrero. There was a time in the late 2000s they sent out 3 awesome Mexican wrestlers on Juan Deere lawnmowers, not John Deere lawnmowers. Juan Deere lawnmowers, and they were called the Mexicools. Hey, Bubba. Hey, buddy. Hey, Tiger. I love you, boy. My wife and my son just walked by. I got it. It was WrestleMania 6. Thank you. Yeah. Vince doesn't much like when Kanye said George Bush don't care about black people. Vince McMahon don't care about black people. He's stupid. Even poor Booker T's WrestleMania, I sent that to Lamar. Booker T's WrestleMania 19 match. The whole angle is based on Triple H telling Booker T that that's your kind of people don't make it. Like, is he telling him that black people aren't champions? I don't know if y'all can pick that up. That's a tiger roaring over in the background. Yeah. See, Eddie made it work when he was riding the low riders, but I remember Brock Lesnar brought out some mariachis when he was feuding with Eddie. Thankfully, Eddie beat Brock Lesnar for the title to make up, in my mind, to make up for that. But yeah, Vince, he loves racism the wrong way. Yeah, Conan. Yeah, when Conan was dressed as a cholo over in WCW for the MWO, that was very amusing. But speaking of WWE, thank you, Kia, for that. That was a great a great transition there. Great segue. So WWE is in spite of everything that's going on, they're still trying to do WrestleMania, and now it's a shit show. Everything I've been reading about what's happened, because apparently they already taped WrestleMania. It's going to be live to tape. Wrestlers aren't even some wrestlers are refusing to show up. Apparently, Brock Lesnar freaking shouted down freaking Vince for doing it. I mean, I'm sure Brock's still cashing that check though, but apparently Roman Reigns, who just recovered from leukemia last year, so he's immunovulnerable. So he's just like, no, I'm not coming to Orlando where we're gonna have a whole bunch of wrestlers in one place. Apparently, some of the wrestlers are sick, so they're having to send them home. And they're just like, oh, we'll just take your temperature when you're walking in. Worked for China. And so it seems like a giant PR disaster waiting to happen. I mean, it took long enough to cancel the WWE. Vince was playing chicken with the city of Tampa. I guess he was trying to get them to cancel first before he had to cancel. That I'm sure had to do some financial bullshit. But now they're taping WrestleMania. They're doing it over 2 days. Apparently, they've already taped Raw. They're putting stuff on the can because it's just chaos right now. And they're trying to keep their product going. I don't blame them. They got a business to run, but you know what? Just stop. They're already half their show is like reruns of old shit right now because they can only cobble together like an hour or two of live product. They're like, all right, cool. Here's the Royal Rumble from years ago. Oh, look, let's watch Triple H and Roman Reigns hump each other for half an hour. Yeah, they should have just canceled it straight up. But yeah, Ray's still quarantined. Yeah, Rey Mysterio, poor guy, has been quarantined. A couple of female wrestlers have been quarantined. It's Daniel Bryan doesn't want to go because he's afraid he has it or he doesn't want to catch it because he want to bring it home to his family, to his pregnant wife and his kid. It's they think Rob Gronkowski, future WWF champion, he's the host of WrestleMania. I don't know. Like I know I came on here a week or two ago and said, "Oh, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be a train wreck. I will watch it out of curiosity." But now I'm just like, I don't even know. We threw on SmackDown this past Friday. So since I don't have cable, I can only watch SmackDown and whatever shows up on the network. And so like my wife was like, this like was watching and she's like, this is so awkward. I'm like, I know. Like a couple of the Usos were trying to they did a call and response to nobody because there's no crowd. And I guess they did it as a joke, but it's still it kind of just shows you how much professional wrestling relies on that live crowd, on the energy that they feed from it. And so it's just begun. It's just a bad soap opera now. They show this terrible angle where Baron Corbin was throwing that Elias dude off a freaking stage, and it was just so painfully obvious that they set it up with the crash pad and everything. It felt like terrible soap opera. I tweeted it out. I'm like, they've gone past the uncanny valley. Yeah. WrestleMania, yeah. Yes, Kyle, it is just going to be one long car crash. It's like Goldberg was supposed to wrestle Roman. Roman's not showing up, so I know they're going to stick someone else in there with Goldberg, and Goldberg will eat them in 2 minutes. And, it's out of control. Mania's going to suck. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Warren, thank you for reminding me that. Apparently, the Miz, stupid Mike Mizanin, showed up coughing and sneezing. Apparently, he was sick. I don't know if he necessarily has the virus or not, but that dumbass is coughing, so everyone hates that guy. So, people already hated that dude for a long-ass time, and now here he is freaking dragging up all the hate for himself. It's just, it's a tough time as a pro wrestling fan. One of the idiots, fucking Braun Strowman, was talking about how all these independent wrestlers, if you're not good enough to make money, then you shouldn't be a wrestler. Like, all these independent guys lost their gigs. They don't have guaranteed ass contracts because a lot of these independent wrestlers, guys who are out there making it on their own, they can't wrestle. Basically, every independent show has been canceled from here on out to who knows when. And WrestleMania weekend is normally one of the biggest weekends for independent wrestling. I mean, wrestling fans are more excited for all the stuff outside of WrestleMania. Hell, should there be a WrestleMania next year? If we can get to that, it's coming here to LA, and I would be more excited to go to a Joey Janela spring break or freaking whatever. A lot of these other, if we got some GCW or some AIW or if all these other DDT Pro, if all these other organizations come out and rent out whatever venues around here and do some crazy shows, I'd be super excited for all that stuff. but not actually WrestleMania. I'd be like, nah, I'm good on that. I'd rather watch that. I'd rather watch it with my friends and make fun of it, because that's traditionally what me and my wrestling fan friends, we get together and we just mock WrestleMania. Our buddy JC gets the score sheets, and we sit there making. I remember last year's WrestleMania. It was a dog of a show, but we had a great time mocking it. We had a good ass time making fun of that 7-hour spectacular. Good, it was a goddamn marathon. It's just yeah, exactly, Kyle. Yeah, movies and TV shows can't do production. I don't understand why WWE or AEW is still going. I mean, I know AEW doesn't have a back catalog to throw up, but good God, it's yeah, WWE should just be like, all right, let's just throw up some old stuff. I mean, granted, they can't, like we said earlier, they can't throw up that old Attitude Era stuff, because man, a lot of stuff won't fly. Your Val Venus choppy your peepees, your hold on, I'm gonna just try to think of the most embarrassing things that they did back in the Attitude Era, when your beaver cleavage does a wife beating angle. Hold on, when Triple H was having sex with a corpse, poor old Katie Vick. Hold on, there's a lot of bad stuff in the past. They should just throw all that up in place of Raw and SmackDown. I guess in theory it might be more entertaining than the current product, but yeah, there's a lot of objectionable stuff back then. I mean, if you just keep giving me Stone Cold giving everybody stunners, I think they'd probably get better ratings showing Stone Cold just rip through a whole bunch of people. You know what, Irv, watch party on Zoom. We might just have to set up a big Zoom watch party, invite all y'all. We just have a big Zoom watch party, and we throw it on, and we just mock it incessantly. We just MST3K that fucking show, because this is good. That's the only way it's gonna be tolerable. If you try Mark Henry and Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Thank you, Kit. There's so much objectionable content back from the Attitude Era. People look back on the Attitude Era as if it's some sort of golden age. But I remember once I got the network and they started putting up the Attitude Era Raws, I'm like, oh, cool. I missed a lot of these because I didn't have cable in like 1998 or 1999. I'd have to wait for my buddy Ryan to record the pay-per-view and bring it down to my comic shop. I'd watch just the pay-per-views. You go back and watch some of those old Raws. Good God. Bad. Just, terrible. Vince Russo is a hack. He's a monster. Ugh. Well, enough about that for now. Well, we may, you know what? We're gonna try. I'll see if let's see if we can organize a WrestleMania Zoom party. We'll set up a Zoom, invite everybody. Let's just do it all over the internet, and we can just have a good ass time. We get Lamar, and he'll be yelling at everybody. We can have Jai making off-color comments. Kiet will correct us when we say something wrong. It'll be a great time. Kyle, come on, you can join us on that too. You can all that crazy stuff. Yeah, that's right. Royal Rumble 2000 when Mae Young went topless. That was horrible. It's just bad. There's just so much bad stuff. There was some good stuff. He'd be there. See, Daniel, you can come. You know what? You not watching wrestling will actually make it much more enjoyable for you, because you're going to not understand what's happening. You're not going to have the weight of all this bullshit. You'll just be like, huh. Or, like, see, my wife, I forgot if it was WrestleMania or Royal Rumble. Or there was some point where my wife totally dropped something where I can never unsee it now. My wife took one look at The Undertaker and said, is that Kelsey Grammer? And now I can never unsee that. Every time I see fucking Taker now, all I hear is tossed salad and scrambled eggs in my head. Just, that's all I hear now. It's not rest in peace. It's Niles. Niles. Where's Ross? That's all I see now. And she did that with another wrestler, and I still can't remember who it was. Like, I forgot if we were watching some New Japan, and my wife just, like, because she has no friggin' context of wrestling, she still, like, she knows wrestling. She loves Lucha Libre. We go to Lucha Vavoom. But when I show her all this WWE stuff or New Japan Pro Wrestling, she's just like, huh, And she drops those beautiful kernels of comedy, which just knocked me on my ass. There was one that was so funny I forgot it. It was just like she hit me so hard with another, that wrestler looks like so and so, and I was ass over tea kettle, as Stone Cold would say. I was just like, oh, I had to take a bump, and it was just like, and to this day, I still can't remember what she said. I was like, I wish I could remember because it was just so goddamn funny. It just hit me so hard. I must have gave myself another concussion. And I was like, nope, I can't remember. She can't remember either. I don't know if I have to, like, let's just rewatch some New Japan shows and maybe she'll just point out, like, oh yeah, that guy looks like so-and-so. Let's end the show on a positive note. At least a positive for me. You know, I work in video games. I love video games. I rarely get to play any video games nowadays. I'm a busy man between work and being a dad. But I saw something cool today on the internet. It made young Dre very happy. And this year is going to be the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. And I guess there's going to be a bunch of announcements at E3, but I guess some of the stuff, because there is no E3, I don't know. I thought Nintendo would still just do a Nintendo Direct that same week. They'd be like, fuck it, all right, we're still recording this thing, let's just put it out. They're going to be doing a lot of remakes of Super Mario Brother games, I'm assuming for the Switch. And that way people, I mean, and these cynic gamers will say, oh, there goes Nintendo, you know, recycling their old content over again for free money. But the optimist gamer like myself is like, oh, cool. More people will get a chance to play these awesome games. And I am more than happy to pay for Super Mario Bros. 3 again. Because that's, if you watched my recent Dre's Retro Game Minute, I love Super Mario 3. That's just, in my opinion, some of you love Super Mario World, some of you love Mario 64 more, some of you may love New Super Mario Brothers more. I'm not here to take that away from you. I'm here to tell you that Super Mario 3 is just a seminal experience in my life. Just taking it back to frickin' 1990 something. I think it was 1990. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure Kiat Fam will let us know the correct year, if it was 1990 or 1991. The first time I saw that weird-ass commercial where all the people were chanting, Mario, 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 and then the camera like pans out and you just see it's like America, but it's in like everyone's standing there in the shape of like Raccoon Mario. I was just like, I was in. And then I got my hands, I saved up my allowance, I saved up my money, and got my hands on a copy of Super Mario 3. I was so freaking excited. I got my hands on it, took it home, popped it into my NES, and I played that nonstop. I wanted the Hammer Brothers suit. That Hammer Brothers suit. That was my obsession as a child, because you could only find it in certain areas of the goddamn game. And honestly, young Dre, I love Nintendo, but I wasn't very good. I wasn't good at those games. I mean, Mario 2. Oh God, I remember I saved my money for Super Mario 2. I remember buying that game at the swap meet and being disappointed. I couldn't get past 4-1. Blah, that game. Even as an adult, I don't think I can beat that game. But Mario 3, man. Oh, the Hammer Brothers suit and the Tanuki suit. All those cool ass suits. And I loved how the instruction booklet had those beautiful hand-drawn drawings of Mario. Like, he's standing there when he turns into a statue in the Tanuki suit, and he's like throwing the hammer. You can see, like, back when there used to be instruction booklets, and however that booklet was just so freaking magical to freaking like 10-year-old Dre. It's a warm blanket. That's what Super Mario Bros. 3 is. Mario 3 is just a warm blanket of comfort. And I can pop it in. I can throw it on my Switch right now because they got that on the NES, whatever. If you pay the $20 a year, blah, 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 yada, 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 you can play a bunch of NES games. It's just still fun. I remember, I think later on as an adult, when I got my hands on a Super Mario All-Stars for Super Nintendo, I finally beat Mario 3 when I was in college, and I was just so fucking proud of myself. I was like, fuck yeah, I got through that shitty fucking pipe world. I went through it hard way. I didn't warp whistle. I freaking hard wayed that fucking game. Fucking, I love Giant World, but that world's freaking hard. Ice World is a nightmare. I hate Ice World. The Pipe World with that level where you had to keep running and you had to be invincible the entire time. And if you weren't invincible when you hit that block, the next star wouldn't come out and you would die. It was a challenge, but the game wasn't. That's why I love when a game is a challenge, but it's not impossible, where it doesn't punish you. You have to get good, like they say on the internet. And then I worked my way through all those goddamn ships. Because I remember as a kid, you know, you get the warp whistles. You find out, you get the whistles. You cheat. Boom. Wow. You zoom up over all the way to World 8, and you get your butt kicked on all the boats. Dun, 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 dun. Terrible. Oh, man. But that game, just, even though it was hard, it still evokes such positive memories for me. And I remember the few times I'd get my hands on the Hammer Brothers suit, especially when I was a kid, I would be so excited. I started chucking hammers, and then I'd be chucking the hammers over the Goombas, and the Goomba would just walk right up to me. I'm like, I'd lose the suit within a minute. Not even a minute. A fool. Young fool. God. Young man. I was a young man. I love it. See, right there, those formative years, struggling through Mario 1. Guffawing at Mario 2, but then Mario 3, such a freaking... That game's a piece of art to me. To me, that's a piece of art. It's just, the music is comforting, the game is comforting, even though it's, especially once you get those later levels. When the sun is chasing you down in World 2, man. Oh, stupid sun. That giant fish swallows you whole. Dang it. Frustrating, but not impossible. Beautiful, beautiful game design. I look forward in like 10 years. I can sit my boy, my little tiger down, and be like, all right, young man, it's time for you to play Daddy's favorite video game. I'm gonna hand him an NES controller. Hopefully, I can get it where you can have an NES controller. I might get the ones for the Switch. Hopefully the Switch will still be going at that point in time, 10 years from now. Maybe, I know they'll be on Switch 2 or freaking Switch U. I'm sure they'll fuck up after this one, because that's what Nintendo does. Success, failure, success, failure. They're good at that. They're good at playing from behind. I'm going to sit my young man down. I'm like, all right, Tiger. I want you to play this game. I want you to play Super Mario Brothers 3. And if he doesn't like it, hey, he doesn't like it. I can't make him like it. But I hopefully he will see the joy that I got from that game. It brought me great joy. Might not be the same. It'll be a different generation then. It'll be like maybe 2030. We all might be living in this weird Black Mirror world where I'll have to wear masks all the goddamn time. Who knows? But hopefully, I want to err on the side of hope. I'm going to err on the side of optimism. That 10 years from now, I'll be able to share these experiences with my boy. I'm like, when I was your age, Daddy played these games. And he's going to look at me and say, Dad, y'all played some dumbass games. On that note, oh, man, Mario Land on Game Boy, that game was freaking hard as hell. Woof. That's some skills, Kyle Q. Jackson. Being that weird-ass alien at the end. Woo. Damn. Mario Land. Super Mario Land. Ooh, I'm going to get my ass whipped on that one. On that note, we'll do some more gaming talk like we always do every week. Make sure to catch my Dre's Retro Game Minute, where I condense stories like that into manageable, bite-sized pieces of 3 minutes or less, telling you about some of my favorite games. Those are all available here on our Facebook channel and also available on our YouTube channel. We have all those episodes of Dre's Retro Game Minute. A lot of classic episodes of Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast, all available on our YouTube page. If you just go to YouTube, search Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast, you'll find a whole breadth of content there. I'm hopefully we'll get to figure out how to upload the rest of my shows from Facebook onto there. Facebook's been a bit of a pain in the ass lately, so we'll hopefully get more on there. Social media, at Dre GP Podcast. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Haven't been posting as much on Instagram. Been posting more on Twitter because Twitter's the Wild West. Hashtag Black Twitter is awesome. I love Black Twitter. It makes an endless supply of jokes and laughs. Black Twitter is the best. I'm glad I got invited to the barbecue of Black Twitter. Make sure, check out my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/Dre's Geek Philosophy. Check out my wife's shop if you want to get yourself a mask. My wife is hand making these masks. If you are in need of such a thing, etsy.com/shop/Le Meow Club. If you want to get your hands on that through my wife's Etsy shop, all that money, whatever money, yeah, that all goes towards the baby. We're putting that in like a little savings account. That way, when he gets older, yes, my wife is also making adult sizes. I think she might only have the child size available on Etsy, but I'm sure she'll probably change it soon to add the adult sizes. I think she might have her adult sizes on this other site called Depop, but I think she's going to be adding the adult sizes to Etsy. But Daniel Wong is at the Etsy shop right now. I think only the child masks are available at the moment on the Etsy shop. I think she's going to add them hopefully within the next 24 hours. I'll send you a message, Daniel, once they are added to the Etsy shop. Check all that stuff out. You know, the plugs. I don't like doing the plugs. I feel uncomfortable doing the plugs. This is a conversation between me and people who want to hear me. I don't want to shove stuff down your throat. Like, I always want to be like, oh, sponsored by Video Game Wholesale or sponsored by Deal Tavern. But yeah, someday we'll get sponsors. I'm not trying that. I'm clearly not trying that hard to get sponsors. I do this for all y'all who want to watch. It's just a fun show. Just have fun. And then, like I said last week, now I feel like now because of the world we're in, this is the way we can check in on each other. This is my way of letting y'all check in on me and my family to see how we're doing, what crazy stuff is coming out of my head into the internet for y'all to watch. And then I document it all. That way my son can be embarrassed later when he sees, Dad, you're a crazy person on the internet. And I'm like, yes, son, I am. I am a crazy person on the internet. It's fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you guys next week. We'll be back here again with another episode of Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. You have yourselves a good night, and thank you.